Hi, my name is Stephen Gardner. I'm with the Kitsap Sun, and for the next few minutes we're going to have a little bit of fun with math. Now, let's suppose that about 10 years ago, this was with a fine you had to pay for speeding in a school zone. We'll just suppose that that might have happened to somebody. And then let's suppose that this is that same infraction, but that's the fine today. And you want to know what the difference is between 210 and 135. Now, some of you will be guessing that right out of your head because you're good with numbers. But for some of us, we have to go to the equation. 0 minus 5 isn't going to get you the number you want, so you've got to go to the next one, and you get a 10, and then you scratch, and then you bring that over, and you got 5. Then you do 10 minus 3, you get 7, and then you end up with your answer, 75. Now, what if I told you there might even be an easier way to do this? What you can do is, instead of doing that into the whole thing where you cross out numbers and you get 10, instead subtract 10 from each number, and then you have 200 minus 125, and you get the same answer. What if it was 210 minus 138? Here's the key here. The easiest number to subtract from in the number system is 9. Since we're dealing with 210, we might as well go to 199 because that will make it even easier. So instead of subtracting 10, we'll subtract 11 from each number. We get 199 minus 127. And you can see how easy that equation was. Where did I learn these tricks? From this guy. His name is Greg Tang. He was volunteering in one of his kids' classes when he saw dots penciled in on all the dominoes, and it told him that the kids were counting each individual dot by 1. He thought it would be a lot faster if they could learn how to count in groups, so he developed books and an online site, and he lectures around the world. A week ago, he was on Bainbridge Island, and he made these kids squeal. How? By telling the kids to imagine grouping one of the eggs with another group to make it easier to figure out how to count the total, then pretending to not notice that the egg was moving. Why would he do that? So that math will be fun, and it can even be fun when the students get older and start addressing tougher challenges. This is Wendy Kraft's 7th grade classroom at Klahowya Secondary School. If you want to figure out the area of a rectangle, is it more interesting to just put a rectangle in front of you, or to show the state of Colorado? Shapes like circles, triangles, rectangles, and hexagons can also be found in figures like the Kremlin and the Taj Mahal. In other words, you make it fun, and you start doing that at an early age, getting them competent with the early problems so that they can meet the challenges later on. Your thoughts on math?
Math, I don't really like it. It's kind of boring. I mean, sometimes it can be fun. I guess what we're doing right now is kind of fun.
I think Miss Kraft makes math a lot easier, honestly.
How does she do that?
She explains it really well.
Plus, when she's doing questions, she tags it along with other stuff, and not like something like, okay, this equals and we're just like, huh? You know, it's like, okay, so it's like story problems kind of stuff.
So like seeing the Taj Mahal?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it makes it more interesting. Yeah.
I think there's this notion that we somehow can make math easy, and I don't really agree with that. Math gets hard very quickly, so my whole approach is to get kids ready for a hard subject by teaching them to think more in more advanced ways, more abstract ways, teach them to generalize what they know, to apply what they know. So I think there's a lot of work to be done with math. It's just not that easy to teach.
What about in calculus, trigonometry, all those things?
It's the same thing. I mean, it's like those are much more difficult topics, but it's the same thing. It's some idea that generalizes. So for example, when you talk about calculus or looking for, rates of change, all that understanding started with fractions in 3rd and 4th grade. Then it went to ratio and proportion in 5th and 6th grade, and finally it went to slope in middle school, and then all of a sudden it's calculus in high school. So there's a path of ideas, simple ideas, that just became slightly harder as the kid got older. But if they didn't understand it in elementary school, they're never going to understand it in high school.